Hello, everyone, and welcome to another social science coffee break. I am Stacy Allen, and I am joined by my wonderful colleague Paul Rombo today to present to you two resources, one for the elementary and one for the secondary level to promote digital competency along with your social science competencies. So my elementary resource for today is called From Parish to Province, Traces of the Quiet Revolution. My kind of theme a bit this month of April was to highlight resources that could promote outdoor education as well with social sciences. So this is a 1 to 2 period activity for Cycle 3 students focusing on the Quiet Revolution. So students have to analyze documents and then they have to go take a walk in their local environment to find traces of the Quiet Revolution in their community. So, for example, hydroelectric meters or transport and road work, and talk about that shift from the church and private companies taking care of services for the public towards the provincial government. And I love this activity because of the outdoor element. There's been many proven health and cognitive benefits for students engaging in outdoor education in school. And taking the inquiry outside also helps to transform those aspect historical concepts into authentic, tangible evidence. So I'm going to bring up the activity where it's sitting on our Societies and Territories website for elementary students. So you'll see here that activity involves a teacher's guide and a student workbook. I'll open up the student workbook here so you can get a bit of an idea for what it involves. So you'll see here a little situation that kind of helps focus or hook the students in the topic. And you'll see also an inquiry question, which the students will have to respond to in the conclusion or at the end of the activity, kind of as an exit ticket, which is what is the Quiet Revolution and how did it change? Who is responsible for the well-being of Quebecers? After that, you'll find 4 documents. Now, these documents also come with a kind of highlighter kind of grid on the side. You'll see facts as who, what, when, where, and why. One thing I like to do is have this kind of displayed on a class whiteboard and model to students how to analyze a document before allowing them to go in and break into small groups to analyze the documents themselves. Okay. So after students have analyzed the documents about the Quiet Revolution, then again, they go on the outdoor evidence hunt. So you can see here, there's a table that can include different categories, different evidence that they could record that they come across during their outdoor walk, and then also some reasoning about how it shows the government's role or responsibility in those different categories or areas. And then again, the students answer the inquiry question by giving 2 examples of services that move from, Catholic Church and kind of public responsibility to the government's responsibility over time. Okay? And students could respond in text. Obviously, this is kind of set up with lines so students could provide written answers. But again, students could also record an audio recording to respond to this question, which would help promote universal design for learning and give students choice in how they want to show their comprehension or understanding of this activity. And then below, you'll see adapted kind of assessment grid for students. It's also contained in the teacher's guidebook about how they explain the change in responsibility that takes place over time between 1905 and 1980. So this activity was again designed in Google Docs, and it does help promote digital competency by familiarizing students with Word document technology. So how to use a Google Doc, how to type, those kind of skills that will follow students through to secondary level. So I guess that's about it for me. Paul, I leave it to you to present your secondary resource.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Secondary Share on this April 7th coffee break session at noon. Yes, I'm also going to share a resource that is basically a way to get outside, outdoor education, in history as well. This is based on a tour site called the Griffintown Tour. some of you may know. And I've revamped an activity that was shared by a teacher, which I'll credit in a second, um, uh, in order to use Cartograph as well as just the tour site. So basically, what this is, it's an example of an urban history hike where students get to tour a historical neighborhood and find traces of something. And in this case, it's Montreal, it's Griffintown. They're finding traces of the Industrial Revolution. Of course, this could change depending on your town, but the process is similar. And you can use which resources you have, or you can just use the process of visiting historical sites. And in this case, they get to see how large immigrant communities can still be found at these sites. Um, so in that way, while they're characterizing why you're doing it, you're characterizing the period and you're explaining a phenomenon because they are learning about the Industrial Revolution, but they're also better seeing the connections between past and present, continuity and change, because they're actually visiting these locations and they see what happened to them and what they've become today. So where this is, it's on Learn at you can search it on Learn. So I'll go that route. But it is also on the bottom of the industrialization page in the on the history of Quebec and citizenship site, which I'll show you at some point because that's where the original project that was shared uh, is located. So the resource here is actually a cartograph scenario. It's listed on the home page under sample maps, and this links directly to the scenario. Basically, I'll see if I can make this bigger. One, two, three, four. Students are to take a tour of Griffintown, this historical neighborhood, where traces of industrialization can be found. So they're actually hiking outside and visiting these 21 sites on the Griffin Tour website. And I'll show you that site right now. Basically, it's a site that contains 21 locations, films done on location by Scott McLeod interviewing Dr. Matthew Barlow on the history of Griffintown. And the site actually does contain a map. So this is a map that they've constructed, and it contains all 21 sites. So when you click to view one, the map contains a video and it contains information about that site. And of course, there's information in the video that students are expected to to view. By the way, see down here, you can click Vimeo. If you want to click Vimeo, you get the address of the actual video on Vimeo, and you can actually insert that into a cartograph map. So the cartograph scenario, as do many of the scenarios on cartograph, comes with a sample map to get things started so you can visualize it. I'll show you that in a second, but before go there, I want to show you that part of the task here is not just to map all the sites, to visit all the sites, is to choose which ones are most significant historically. So the students have to have an idea of what historical significance contains, and that's available in the actual original mapping project or original project, which I'll show you in a second. So once they get to this resource, this page that describes it, they can actually click a map that gives them an idea of what they're expected to do. The map contains another version of the instructions in the description, so that they can read it that way. It contains a sample point. Now, part of the task is to include images that you take while you're there. I didn't go there, but I took a street view image, which is part of Cartograph, and you can see that it's actually a bicycle path view because they do that new now apparently. And in the description, the students are expected to add images, which I just showed you, selfies of them at the location, key pictures of the location itself. On Cartograph, you can actually add the video right into the point, so that's convenient, so you can see the video that way. And they're expected to write a couple paragraphs about describing the location and also explaining how it was involved in industrialization. And most importantly, they're expected to say why it was historically important, historically significant based on criteria. These are just sample paragraphs. And again, it's a sample point. Once the student duplicates the map, if they want to use this one, they should probably delete this point because everybody will have it. and they can start again. And obviously this point is not to be used because it was already done in the sample map. So like I said, this is actually available at another location. So I want to end by showing you that at the original project. Um, it's also referred to in the description on Cartograph so that you can get to it that way. But basically, it's at the very bottom of this page on our website for History of Quebec and Canada in this time period, 1840, 1896. And it was shared by a teacher named Jessie Hayes, the project idea, when she took her students to Griffintown itself and did the walk and visited these sites. So you can actually access the uh, the original project assignment that she wrote up. She graciously shared it with us, so you can see that she tells them they're going to be visiting it. They divide up into groups of four. You've got the person navigating, photographer one, photography two, depending on which their role is, story for selfies or the buildings. You have a storyteller whose role it is to show the videos, ideally with a well, they would need a cell phone or an iPad with data so they can show the videos live on site. And this assignment, also linking to the Griffintown tour site, I just added some green sections to where it says in our groups, students select three sites that are historically significant based on criteria. And here's the criteria for historical significance. And in the tasks, I also added or the yeah the tasks and roles. Um, I added the notion of a note taker, which could be everybody or it could be one person to write down ideas of why this particular site is more significant than others as they go, so that in the end they can decide and choose the three that they determine most significant and that they can then map on the cartograph map. And so that's the resource. Again, it's a urban history hike, but you can see that the process of visiting locations and taking pictures and determining which ones are most significant and mapping that experience in a mapping technology like Cartograph can be used in a variety of different contexts. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next coffee break on Learn. Have a great day.